I grew up in Chicago, which has a wonderful theater community, but I started talking about acting long before I could have known what it was. I was literally 3 years old, and no one in my family did it. I had no idea how I knew what the definition of an actor was. And my parents did their damnedest to dissuade me. They really didn't know what the heck to do with this kid. That's all I talked about. So then came the insecurities because they forced me into soccer and t-ball, which was just a miserable experiment. For those of you who don't know t-ball, the ball is placed on a tee, and I struck out every time t-ball threw. And when we were in the field, I was the catcher. There's no pitcher in t-ball. So this song really drove my desire to want to crawl into a character that was other than myself. And finally, at 7 years old, there was a community theater having opening auditions, and they wrote about it in the paper. They said, "You want to go down there and see what it is to audition? This is what actors need to do to get a job." And I said, "Sure," and ended up leaping right on stage and singing, or attempting to sing the national anthem with a mouthful of Bazooka Joe bubblegum. And they hired me to be in the chorus, and I think immediately regretted it, because from that point on, the only direction I got was just sing with less volume. I think they just wanted a kid on stage. And then, Chicago, if you're not athletic, you're pretty much not cool. So as my theater career evolved, and as my best friends in the chorus of the production of Pippin I was doing influenced me, and my dress turned from, Cubs jerseys to leg warmers and eyeliner and fedoras. It was pretty much just a free-for-all in the schoolyard to beat the heck out of me. But now I eat breakfast in a ball gown as well, and all is good. Yeah, but I don't necessarily subscribe to needing to make him likable either, or endearing in any way. It's really, I've never thought of myself as a comedic actor. Shut up, Joel. I know there's a joke. You're gonna joke at me. Too many jokes for you to pick one, isn't it? That's the writers. If the writing is good, if the writing is funny, then you just play the honesty of it. That answer your question? I haven't killed anybody on the show yet. You know about the next season scripts that I don't?
Well, I mean, Michael, you play similar to
at least on Community, all the characters have some sort of thing going on, and Dan Harmon, the brilliant creator, never rarely, if they fix something, something else pops up. Like when Britta finally was in kind of an okay relationship, but he turned out to be a Balkan war criminal that burned villages, and my character was getting together with 18-year-olds, and but it was going well. So it always kind of and Dan always wants to reflect real life, and so because at least my character, who is enormously selfish, to undo that. It takes a very long time, so hopefully we'll have the same, we'll go like 30 years. And then,
well, when the show started, it seemed like it might have been headed in that direction, like you were going to become a better person by your interaction with
they kept doing that, like, "Oh, you think we're going to do that?" Nope. Yeah, and then we have an 84-year-old guy say "taint" 11 times. No, and I don't think. I mean, Dan is so great because, like, even when they think we're jumping the shark, we literally reference that show where they're like, we just jumped the shark. What are you talking about? The greatest episode of Happy Days ever, and so. That's the sort of thing that there is progress now, I think, for at least my character, a little bit, but not much at all. I like how Dan was like, real life is messy, so anyway, I think I nailed it.
They're passionate, certainly, and sounds about Comic-Con. The first time we go there now every year, the first time we went, it was terrifying. I mean, just the profuse of support. So I was on the train down there to San Diego with Chuck Lorre, and I said, hey man, this is one of the many reasons I should never be in public relations. I said, I think this is a really bad idea that we're going down to Comic-Con. Because I had been there once before for research for my character on Roseanne. I said there, he said, why? I said, well, because we're not a sci-fi show. And, you know, the True Blood is there, and Battlestar Galactica is there, and they're going to run us out of town. And I started, he started looking for a smaller theater immediately. And we got there, and the place was packed, and instead of throwing things at us, they were like, thank you for uniting us. Jesus Christ. And so we vowed to go back every year. They're also very, very sweet. The fans. I think there's a vulnerability to these characters. They just kind of want to take care of us.
Are there people that want to talk to you about physics?
No one has been dumb enough to make the mistake that I'm nearly as smart as my character. So, fortunately, no. I can't spell physics.
No. We had this community similar experience at Comic-Con where we were like, why are we going? And then on the last day of the last episode, Dan Harmon wrote a comic book called Kick Puncher, and a man whose punches are as powerful as kicks, and it was such a subplot in one episode, and so when the reporters would be like, why are you here? And I'm like, listen, nerd. I will beat you up on the softball.
Kick punch you.
Well, we said we have a comic book, so we're safe. And that's when I learned that there was people watching the show. It was, there was a human sacrifice in the audience. Thank God.